This is lesson 68, naming decimal numbers. So we've named big numbers before, but now we're going to start learning how to name decimal numbers. So these are whole numbers and then parts of numbers. So if I have a number, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that I have 1 10 and 2 ones, so I have 12 whole things. And then I have some parts of the next thing. So this number is in between 12 and 13, isn't it? So I have a 3 in the 10th place, a 4 in the 100th place, and a 5 in the 1000th place, right? Okay, so we're going to learn how to name that. I wanted to call your attention to this idea that a mil is a thousandth of a dollar. Like less than, I don't know, 90 something. That comes back to bite you if you don't remember that. It's something that they use for tax purposes. A lot of times on property tax, it'll be expressed in mils. So anyway, just remember that that's a thing. So when we were naming big numbers, we thought about them in terms of houses. The units house, the thousands house, the millions house, the billions house, and so on. So we're going to kind of do that same idea here. So the trick when you're naming is you look at the last place when you have a decimal, or if you have more, we'll turn it into a house. In this case, I'm going to call this number 12 and, my decimal is always and, 345 thousandths. So I don't have to say the 10th place out loud. I don't have to say the 100th place out loud. I just have to look over in the thousandths place. If I had more, I would say 345 thousandths and whatever. Here, I have 12 and, this is in the 10th place. That's my farthest right number. So I'm going to say 12 and 5 tenths. 6 and 12 hundredths, because that's in the hundredths place. 8 and 345, oh look, 345 thousandths. So that one's not in the book. Okay, so look at the last place and then call that place name. Example 1 asks you to use words to name this number. So 12.25. I know that's an and. I know that's the hundredths place. So I'm going to say 12 and 25 hundredths. Remember when you have a 2-digit number between 21 and 99 that doesn't end in 0, you put a hyphen there. Okay, example 2 says, use digits to write 10 and 12 hundredths. So I know 10 is going to have 2 digits. I'm going to put my and then that's the hundredths place. So I'm going to have 2 numbers after my decimal. So 10 and 12 hundredths. What if I had said 10 and 2 hundredths? So I'm going to add 2 hundredths. I'm going to add one. This one isn't in the book either. So I'm going to say 10 and I know I'm talking about hundredths, but I only have 2 of them. So look at that. So make sure when you say the hundredths place, you know you're going to have 2 numbers after the decimal, because I'm going to have a 2 in that hundredths place. Example 3 says the door was 2.032 meters tall. Write the height of the door with words and as a mixed number. So if I look at that, I say 2 and, look over to my last place on the right, and that's the thousandths place. So I look and I see I have 32 after the decimal. So 2 and 32, notice the hyphen, thousandths, right? And then when I say it out loud, it's really easy to write it as a fraction, isn't it, or a mixed number. 2 and then 32 over 1,000. So a lot of times you'll probably say 2.032, and that's a shortcut way to do it, and it's fine. It's not correct. We do it a lot, especially if we're working with decimals and fractions. But to say this properly, it's 2 and 32 thousandths. To say this properly, it's 2 and 32 thousandths meters. Okay? Good luck.